Welcome back, Rafael.
How are you?
Not too bad. How you doing over there?
Doing great. Did you have a good long weekend?
I did actually. I had a chance to really relax. I saw some family and friends on Friday, and then I didn't do anything on Saturday and Sunday. I said no to all plans. How about you?
You know what? It's been a while since I had a weekend like that because with the property in Toronto, most long weekends means going over there and just doing some renovation work.
Oh, I
Uh,
know how that goes.
so yeah, but like I said, it's been an ongoing project and it's coming to an end, and yeah, I look forward to it being done and actually being able to say we're done.
Yeah. Hey, well, good luck with it, Rafael. And thanks for making some time to do this today here. It was so great speaking to you a couple weeks ago, and I'm really glad you came on the podcast today just to go into a little more detail about, what you offer in your role. I think is a really interesting position. But before we get kind of into that side of things, I always like to start these episodes just learning a bit about you as well and kind of what your journey has been like. I think job seekers take a lot from kind of hearing how we got where we are. So, are there any highlights kind of along your career journey that you wouldn't mind sharing today that have kind of brought you to where you are in your role?
How I got to where I be right now is not a straightforward journey. And I imagine many people out there kind of wish to have that dream of they go to school, they pick a particular career path right out of school, they get employed in what they wish to do, and they sail off into the sunset. And that didn't happen with me. I studied psychology in university, and while studying psychology, I was working in a part-time role as a student in surveillance to help pay the bills.
Okay.
And the year before I left or I graduated, my employer at the time offered me his job.
Oh,
So
wow.
I went
His job.
from, yeah, his role, because I
Oh,
took the time to advance in the positions. They actually made a position for me at the time because I got really good with the software behind the scenes. I'm a bit of a nerd, and I helped with the programming, and they really needed someone that was able to carry on with that at the
huh.
time. So I went from not knowing what I was going to do with a psych degree to then running a multi-million dollar operation for a university, the second largest in Canada. So it went from 0 to 100 pretty quickly in my, say, late 20s.
Wow.
At the same time, I was also involved. I still am actually involved with the military and the cadet program, helping youth develop their skill sets. I was a cadet when I was younger as well,
Gotcha.
and that has given me some skill sets that help me present myself, help me with discipline. Those help me with different, I guess, take advantage of opportunities that many people aren't aware that are out there for anybody for free, and help me also relate to a lot of different kinds of people. So I had that also as some tools in my toolbox, and that really helped me connect and interact well with others. Um, and moving forward, I was offered a role in Thunder Bay in the security industry with the gaming.
Okay.
Uh, Went up there, security manager, did that for a couple of years, still involved in the cadet program. Um, until that point in time, I hadn't joined the military yet to help deliver it. I was a volunteer at the time. Then I finally joined the military to help run that program, which has given me more training. I got my pilot's license through the program around that time as well.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and then I use those skill sets to help with the kids and be able to relate with them and to be able to work with their adult parents as well. And again, it's just developing, fostering those skills to be able to talk to people from all different walks of life. Um, Fast forward a couple of years, I changed roles and went into surveillance in the gaming industry, which then helps you work with local law enforcement or provincial law enforcement. Um, Collection of evidence, documentation of events that occur over there. And did that for a couple of years. And then I moved to Kingston, Ontario, where down here I started working with, still with the gaming industry, but at the same time I started running an Airbnb out of my basement. And in that Airbnb host role, I took on a lot of people that were coming into the country that were brand new. And in there, just because of who I am as a person, I helped them once they got here, help them find places to live, help them find work, help them guide them a little bit in terms of what they need to do to be able to settle into our community. And that was just something that I did because I enjoyed doing that.
Wow.
So, so tie in all those things together, and from different paths and different walks of life. I heard about this role with Keys where I work right now. And in this role, my function is to assist professionals that are coming into Kingston, Ontario, that have been hired by a local employer, relocate not just themselves, but also their entire families and settle into the community. So take all those things that I've done in the past. It's not a straightforward path.
No.
It's an accumulation of different types of experiences and passions and drives and living your life the way you not living your life the way you want to live, but living the things that you can control, the things that you wish to do, and things that you do enjoy, and finding ways to position yourself to be able to continuously do that. I enjoy helping. I enjoy teaching. I do that with the kids. I do that with my Airbnb guests. Um, so then couple that with the fact that I worked in different roles, where working alongside different people with different professions and different skill sets and different socioeconomic backgrounds, I felt that really helped position myself to take on the role that I have right now and relate to all the people that I've been assigned to help. So hopefully that kind of gives you that
It,
answer of how did I get to where I was, and kind of could see that it was a very indirect way where it wasn't just because I worked in this role, I therefore am qualified to do this. It's more because I worked in these roles, I developed those secondary skill sets, which then became the primary skill sets that are required for a role that I have right now.
yeah, I'm so glad I asked because I love hearing stories like this, Rafael. I think more and more, I don't think anyone leaves school and does things the way, we were talking about in the beginning, where you leave school and enter that dream job. There's so much that happens along the way, and the dream changes. And I think it's so interesting that you said, you started a career in security really to pay the bills early on. And then from what I'm hearing, it ended up being really a big part of, your career over the next stretch of your life. And that's interesting to me because I think sometimes job seekers worry about doing something to pay the bills because they want to do something else. And I get that, but I do think there's a lot to learn from these experiences. And like you may never know. You may end up doing something that's, a new passion. So that's really exciting to hear. And the other thing that I think is interesting is that you talked about running the Airbnb and helping people before it was ever a job. And that's insightful, I think, too, because I think so many times people are waiting to have an opportunity to do something professionally as a job when, if that's who you are, there are ways to do it outside of a workplace. And I think you probably built a lot of skills doing that. So, thank you for sharing that story. That's really interesting to hear. Um, and just right away, because you mentioned this, I think we should draw some attention to this role you're in now. I have not heard of a service where um, the spouse and family of someone who has been relocated for work can get some help as well. So, do you mind just talking a little bit about your role now and how people can learn or reach out to work with Keys and yourself?
Well, yeah, not a problem. Thanks. So it's an exciting role. It's honestly, I feel one of the best jobs I've ever come across in my entire life. Just a little bit of the history behind it. Approximately 5, 6 years ago, a city of Kingston got together with some of the larger employers and wanted to challenge or tackle the issue of how do we attract the talent that the city needs as well as the larger employers need, and not how to only do we attract it, but how do we retain it as well? Because even if they can't find it within, once they arrive here, how do they ensure that they stay? So fast forward, and I'm just doing a very, very high level view of this. After
Right.
some a lot of research, a lot of talking to a lot of different employers, job seekers, they went out with different ways of approaching or tackling this issue. And one of them was my role, which at the time well, it actually has changed names a few times over the years, and we're actually amongst the name change again. The most recent past name was a dual career service, but I feel that something along the lines of a relocation integration service might be a bit more fitting because it explains a bit more of what it does. And the focus of it is to help families relocate to Kingston, help professionals, whether they're part of a family unit or not, come here. And I can speak from personal experience because when I did go to Thunder Bay and when I did come back down to Kingston, it was fantastic that the employer can assist you with as much as they can, whether it's financial, whether it's advice. But once you get here, you're on your own. Or you have your family coming with you, and you're concerned about your say if you have children, where are they going to go to school? How are they going to make friends? If you have a spouse that had to give up their career to come with you to Kingston, how are they going to find something? If they can't find something similar, how are they going to find something that's close to what they've worked in the past? And then there's the whole aspect if you bring, say, for example, pets, just the little questions of who's a good vet out there, dentists, finding a family doctor, well, all those types of things that are involved. If you're coming from out of province, driver's license. If you're coming from out of country, how do I get my health card? All these kinds of questions that many people just, normally won't have to think about day to day becomes a huge deal for somebody who's relocating here for the first time.
Right.
So my role, I feel, is once again is fantastic because I connect with people at any time of the relocation process, whether it's before they come here, during their arrival, even after they've arrived. And I engage with them, and I sit down with them, and I help determine what is the top 3 or 4 things that they need to address right now. And once we address those things, great. Then we can move on to what I say the fun stuff, the integration stuff. Let's get you involved in the community. Let's get you making friends. Let's get you networking with others. And then let's get you feeling as if Kingston is going to be your home. How do we how do we get access to the services with me? Talk to your employer. Right now, I'm assigned 2 clients from certain employers that are participating in the program. And these employers see the need and the value of a program like this to help uh, relocate their staff from wherever they're living, and it could be anywhere on the planet, to Kingston. And they offer this service as a bonus to help these clients make the decision to say, yes, I'm going to move to Kingston. We're going to pick up everything and go there. And we know that we're going to be supported every single step of the way. And it's going to make that entire transition smooth and happy.
That is really helpful to learn more about, Rafael. And I think for people that are thinking about making, a career change or a location change more specifically, this might make them feel a lot more comfortable to know that these types of services are out there, because there could be a dream opportunity that they immediately sort of ignore because of all the things you've just talked about. So you would kind of classify this as relocation services, maybe broadly speaking.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm definitely going to be recommending people, try to learn more about these through their employer, especially in Kingston. I'll mention you got to talk to you, and that's really interesting to hear about. Um, Based on that, now, let's say there is someone coming, and they're the spouse of someone who is being relocated for work. Where are you finding opportunities for work come from for that individual who is kind of new to the area? They don't necessarily have any jobs lined up. um is it job boards? Is it networking events? Where are the opportunities for someone who's kind of starting from scratch?
That's a great question. Yeah, it is job boards. I have access to all publicly available job boards that put them on one site. What I do is I work with that client. We create a shared drive. In that shared drive, there's going to be a list of opportunities that I feel might be suitable for them. We do an assessment. We do see what their skill sets are. We do have a great conversation about, do they want to continue with what they did in the past? Is there something they want to consider pivoting into? And then because I also work with employers, then many of those times I forward that person's information to employers that may be looking for someone with that person's skill sets. A lot of my role is networking, and not just networking with people that are seeking work, but also with employers as well. If there are, then I also work with a fantastic team at Keys who are also integrated into the community. They have a lot of employers as well. And I'll reach out to them and say, hey, I have this client over here, just arrived to Kingston, has these skill sets, is looking to pivot into something. They want to get into this line of work. Do we know somebody? Oh, we do have this industry here. Does anybody know anybody that's in it? Then we forward that contact information to me. They forward it to me, and I reach out to that employer, and we have to see if there's an opportunity for at least informational interview with my client and get the ball rolling in that way. I do have access to, say, for example, LinkedIn searches, job boards all throughout the city. And I sit down with a client, and on top of that, I help them with mock interviews
Ah,
where I go with them step by step and go over the most common questions asked at a job interview and go over, just how they would answer it, see if we could finesse it a bit more, if they're potentially missing some components to that answer. So that way, when they step into an interview, they have everything they need to be able to be successful for that position.
that's just another great reason to engage with a center like Keys because um, one thing you said that really stuck with me there is that even if it's they come to you, you have a network of people you can introduce them to, but you also have this team of people, each with their own network that may know the employer that this person is interested in working for or pivoting to. Um, that's something I hadn't thought of before. Another great reason to reach out to a team like the one at Keys to help with that networking process, especially if you're new to the area. Um, Kind of like moving along that process now, let's say, you're able to make an introduction for them to one of the partner employers or someone in the network. Are you noticing anything um, that is really working for job seekers in terms of things they're doing right in the interview? So maybe things you've noticed in the mock interviews that you would recommend other job seekers do, kind of, you know, tips that way?
Yeah, actually, one of the hottest thing out there right now for in terms of interview questions is answering questions in the star format,
Right.
and that's something that even some employers I've seen tell potential applicants, saying that when you come for an interview, we're going to ask questions, and the expectation is you answer them in a star format, and star stands for situation, task, actions, and results. And it's a great way of being able to take a look at a question, especially scenario questions, and be able to answer it fully, and then give a response back in a nice, well-rounded way that's going to be able to tack on or be able to review all aspects of a question, and show the employer that you really thought everything out.
That's helpful to know because I have heard of STAR before. What I haven't heard of is that employers might actually be, reviewing a job seeker's answer in that format as well. So that's even more reason to get familiar with it and definitely try to use it. What about do nots? Are there any things that you're noticing job seekers do as they practice with you or um, that they're telling you about after an interview that might be something we should avoid doing as job seekers?
One of the biggest ones I have is, do not say I have no questions at the end of the interview.
Ah,
When the interviewer asks you, do you have any questions at the very end? I tell all my clients and anybody that I help is that here is a time where you make this interpersonal connection with that interviewer. They put their pens down, they lean back, and they're ready to engage with you as a person. And anything that you ask I say, don't ask anything that's already been asked or been answered in the job posting. And take this as an opportunity to get to know them and get to know the workplace. Ask questions like, what does success look like in this role? How long have you been in your position, or have you been advanced to your role? Tell me a little bit about what keeps you working here. The more you engage with that employer, the more they start to see you as somebody that's able to get along with the team, someone that's personable. Employers have a bit of a tough gig when it comes to interviews. They have 20, 30 minutes to make a decision to find someone that is fully capable of doing the role that they're interviewing for. But at the same time, they have to find somebody that's able to get along with everybody else in the workplace. And that's tough, right? That's tough because if that person doesn't pan out from an interpersonal perspective, it comes across, it feels, they feel bad about that because they're the ones that decided to hire you for it.
It's a good
So
point.
what I tell my clients is that use this as an opportunity to engage with them. Find ways to connect with them. If they drop little breadcrumbs of information about what makes everybody happy, find ways to connect with that particular breadcrumb and show them that you yourself can integrate smoothly into that kind of a workplace because you too enjoy the same things that, and be honest about it too, right? But you too enjoy the same things that they enjoy. This is a part of the interview that I feel when I was interviewing made a huge impact on whether or not I would call that person back because when that person leaves, I feel good about that person, not just because of what's in their resume, but because I know that they're going to get along well with their coworkers. And that is such a huge thing for any employer to be able to feel confident about.
That's a really helpful insight, and I actually heard someone else mention that today, and I have to say, like, it's helpful to hear that because I feel like my mentality when I was interviewing was, I have no questions. I'm good. I know I came here and I have no questions, as if that somehow showed that I had done my research. When in fact it was probably hurting, um, because it didn't give me that chance to engage. So, really clarifying to hear kind of the reason, and examples of questions that are appropriate for an interview setting as well. So, really appreciate that insight as well, Rafael. And maybe the last thing to kind of touch on just with the time we have today is, um, since in your role, you're exploring these potential opportunities for newcomers and job seekers, have you noticed any trends sort of forming around opportunities that maybe are new to the field? Are you seeing anything? Are you seeing new roles, a trend in the type of work, where there are opportunities that job seekers might want to learn more about? Does that make sense?
I feel I know what you're getting towards. In terms of trends, I see a lot more niche types of roles out there in the industries. Some things that it's even harder and harder to say, well, I studied for this particular role, and therefore I'm fully qualified to get it. And the only way to get to those niche kinds of roles is to be able to build your experience, um, not just in that one particular line of work, but to completely expand and be able to draw in from a lot of different experiences that you yourself have created for yourself.
Mhm.
If they want somebody with a very strong, for example, I'm going to make things up, marketing, but they want a little niche side experience as well. Well, the onus is on you to, of course, have your everything to do with marketing, but you have to also not just be that. You have to be so much more. I feel that now employers are seeking for a bit more of a complete package out there. Um, and they want somebody who's more versatile, is able to take on different responsibilities and be able to adapt quickly. And the way you do that is by expanding your skill set. And that can be done with things like volunteering. That can be done with things like getting into hobbies. Go out and find things that you personally enjoy doing. Because while you go and do that, you're engaging with other people that also enjoy doing that. You're building up skill sets and you're making connections. You're creating references and you're creating leads and opportunities for yourself as well at the same time. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yes, that's exactly what I was hoping to learn more about. And I really like what you said around even using a hobby to develop a skill. Because my mind was going around, and I was actually going to ask as a follow-up question, what skills are in demand? But I think what you said so much more powerful. If you pick a hobby that you're interested in and invest the time in, getting better at it because you like it, that seems to me like a much more sustainable way to uh, grow, develop that skill, and it's based on your interests. So come the interview time, I think it'll be a lot easier to show some passion and enthusiasm for it. And I actually had a friend do that with drones. He really,
Oh,
yeah, he loved flying drones. He ended up using a drone simulator, and he did that for actually a couple of years. And it turns out, down the road, that simulator program he used ended up being the training software for one of the drone companies he applied for, and he had logged all these hours without even, really doing it on purpose. So it just sort of came full circle for me there when you said that.
Yeah, 100%. The more you try to expand your knowledge, the more you try to expand your experiences, the greater the likelihood that you'll be able to find an in with a particular job, or even during an interview. The more that you have on your resume of things of interest and things that you enjoy doing, the interviewer, who now could also be a drone pilot themselves, could see that, and you start engaging in that. When it comes time at the very end, you can have a wonderful discussion and create that interpersonal connection where when you walk away, that person wants to see you again because they want to keep talking about drones. So it's a real positive thing to really expand your knowledge and your skill set and your social circle by doing the things you enjoy doing, and you never know what it's going to lead to.
It's so true. And I just want to say thank you again, Rafael, for these insights. I think we'll have you back on here. I feel like we've scratched the surface of your stories and experiences, and uh, truly, I find these conversations. I'm not sure who learns more, the job seekers or me, because I pick up a lot of tips and tricks through these conversations. So I really appreciate your time today. Um, is there anything else you would touch on before we wrap up this episode? Any other kind of tips and tricks that are top of mind for you right now?
I just wanted to do a quick mention that Keys is a non-for-profit organization here in Kingston, Ontario. So we don't charge a fee for people that are coming in looking for work. Anybody can come and they'll be assigned somebody to help guide them with their resumes, with helping them find say with mock interviews, help them find an employer. So it's a good opportunity for them to see what's out there if they want to do a career change or if they were in to find a new job. And also, Keys has so much to offer. So consider looking us up if you're in the Kingston area. And I feel that being a not-for-profit organization, that we offer a lot, not just to the employees out there, job seekers out there, but also to the employers too. So if you're an employer, consider looking at us and see how we can help you get to your next level of success.
Oh, that's awesome. And I would definitely recommend that as well. The Keys team is fantastic, and we'll make sure to help spread the word around that. I think 100% worth it reaching out as an employer or job seeker. Um, so thank you again, Rafael, for your time today. And I think this is going to help a ton of people. So really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, we will talk to you soon, and definitely have to have you back on here.
Great. And looking forward to it.
All right. Have a good one, Rafael.
Take
Thank you
care.
again.
Bye. Cheers.